In today's exciting episode, I speak with Michael LeVene. Michael shares some fantastic insights on how we can use voice AI to improve our ability to communicate with customers, particularly in making a massive return on investment through reception staff. The ability of AI to not miss a call, to answer calls, answer clients' questions, prospects' questions, and book them in for appointments is phenomenal. And you're going to get two really great demonstrations during today's session. So I can't wait. Let's jump in. So Michael, welcome to the call today.
Thank you, Kevin.
I am very excited by this topic. We are in the field of AI right now in today's conversation. And whilst a lot of people have been playing around with tools like ChatGPT and maybe a little bit of images and maybe getting excited by what they're seeing with video tools, I think a lot of people are really underestimating the value of audio in AI. Now, I know you're an expert in that area, so let's jump in. I'd love to hear some of your wisdom and insights about what's exciting in this space and what we should be expecting and using right now.
Yeah, thanks. So one of the areas that I really like about AI is that it can do work that previously computers haven't been able to do very well. And one of those is voice AI, which consists of, yes, understanding you, but also being able to talk more human-like. And that really opens up the opportunities for it to answer the phone for businesses. And because it is an AI, it can deal with random conversations. So we have the ability to book appointments with customers. We can answer questions. We can quote to customers if we have that information. It essentially can replace a receptionist or free up your office workers to do more in-depth work and productive work rather than just answering the phone, particularly if it's repetitive inquiries, as a lot of businesses have. So one of those areas that I particularly working is medical, and they get many thousands and thousands of phone calls per month in medical, typically just booking appointments, shifting appointments, cancelling appointments. And that's an area that actually has some really clear, good paybacks. So there's probably a couple of things I could do, Kevin. We can either start off with the example, if I can bring up one of my assistants, in fact, the one that picks up if I don't answer my phone, and you can have a chat with it just to give an example of what an AI can do on the phone.
Hey,
And
I'd love a chat because my question was going to be like, hey, does this work very well? So rather than asking it, let's demo it. Let's have a
okay,
conversation.
let's give it a call. So this is all being done live in real time, so it's not pre-set up. You can hear that all right?
Kevin, it seems Michael is busy. What message would you like to leave?
Oh, cool. Hey, I was wondering if Michael might be able to give me a demo about how these AI tools work.
That sounds like a great idea, Kevin. Michael would be happy to give you a demo on how these AI tools work. Would you like to book a meeting for this, or would you prefer to leave a message for Michael to get back to you?
Well, yeah, could we book a meeting?
Absolutely, Kevin. Let's get that meeting booked for you. Could you let me know which day and time works best for you?
How about tomorrow?
That sounds great. What time tomorrow would suit you best?
I look like I'm free maybe in the morning.
Perfect. How about we aim for 10 a.m. tomorrow morning? Does that work for you?
Yeah, 10 a.m. is great for me.
Wonderful, Kevin. You'll just confirm a couple of details to finalize the booking. Could you share your email address so I can include it in the appointment?
Yeah, perfect. Kevin at
Great.
profithive.com.
Thank you. Just to confirm, is your email address spelled as atoffficei.com?
I think it misheard you there because it spoke a bit hard over Zoom. You can just to save time, we just say, look, don't worry about the email.
No worries at all, Kevin. You'll go ahead and book the meeting without the email. Let me finalize this for you. Your meeting for 10 a.m. tomorrow morning is all set.
Awesome. How long is the meeting?
Thank you for contacting me and have a great day. Goodbye.
Sorry, I'll move the phone away from the speaker.
Oh, you moved
So
the phone away from the speaker. Okay, that's pretty decent. She
yeah,
understands. She books. And now the cool thing is, she went into your calendar, found a time that you're available, and then we'll put that on there. And then, no doubt that automatically, if I can spell my email address right, if she can hear me, then it would give me an email reminder and confirmation as well.
and I also just got an email come through. In fact, two emails, summary of the phone message. I won't share my email on the screen, but summary of the phone message here from Kevin. Also, just to clarify, the reason it actually called you Kevin at the start is because I pre-set it up and said Kevin would be calling, so calling Kevin on this number. We actually remember the phone numbers and the names of the people attached to those mobile phone numbers. So
Cool.
that's why I actually called you by name, because I'd called it before and just did a test just to check it was working. Further, we've actually got another area that we haven't quite released yet, but is a memory function. So it will remember what you've been talking about. So if you're a customer, it will actually remember your details and know why you call. It'll be very human-like. Haven't quite released that one yet, but we've got that in the works.
Hey, but that's pretty impressive then, because, as you say, a receptionist may be getting thousands of calls, in a day, in a week, in a month. To remember everything about every person is pretty tricky. Now, we can have a CRM, but that requires them to bring up the CRM, look at the CRM, read it like in the seconds that it takes for the phone to ring. But basically, the AI is going to have that on hand. They're going to be, based on the phone number, they're probably going to be able to dig into that quite quickly.
Yeah, and also to answer your previous question as well, I did also get a meeting request. So if you'd given the email, you would have got the meeting request for 30 minutes. That's popped through. We actually, for that one, we interface with Carl.com, but you can use Calendar, any of those sort of meeting related interfaces, or you can go direct to Outlook or Gmail.
Okay, that's pretty phenomenal. And I know I've got clients who've been using similar tools. Now, this is like an inbound call in terms of reception, help, but I know they've been using it for events, like event reminders. So they'll call people up and say, "Hey, we've got the event coming up tomorrow, this date, this time. Just want to confirm you're still attending," and the person confirms or says, "No, I can't make it." But then, of course, you can pre-program it with all of the frequently asked questions. People ask, is there parking there? Is this person going to be speaking? How many people? And of course, then because the AI has that information to hand, it can give all those answers as well. So it's pretty phenomenal what you can do. How much, how much programming did you have to put into this particular version? Is it quite straightforward for someone to set this up, or it takes a lot of time and energy?
So we normally customize each voice AI to each business. We generally set that up. There's quite a few components. First of all is, how do you pass off to the AI? And in the case of my mobile phone, I've actually just doing a call redirect if not answered. So that's for individuals. For more complex systems, like the medical center example I'm going to show shortly, that is interfaced to their phone system. So for that, one of those customers, it was 3CX. So we actually do a zip trunk out of their phone system. So the way it works is it initially transfers all calls to the AI. The AI then deals with the calls, and then if it can't book an appointment directly, it will then transfer to another extension, for example, their receptionist, or a specialist within inside the phone system. So it's more of a bolt-on to existing systems, and it helps supplement the way you run your business. It doesn't kind of replace any of your systems, and I specifically designed it that way. So if for whatever reason you don't use it, you don't have to completely change your business. It's just a matter of redirecting where your incoming calls go. So it definitely makes it easy to implement and very easy to bypass if you ever want to do that for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I'd imagine there's some inertia or some resistance to talking to AI. I was speaking with someone on the weekend, and they said, if they had a call from AI, they would hang up, which I thought was highly resistant. But based on what you just demonstrated there, I guess a lot of people, providing it's efficient and effective, they're going to engage with this no problem. Have you seen any resistance, any pushback so far?
A mix of different views, and some people don't even realize they're talking to an AI. In fact, from some of our experimentation, it can be up to a minute before people even start to suspect it might be an AI. It depends on the conversation and also how clear the line is. A big one that gives AI away is latency. So there's quite a complex system that occurs with voice AI, and with the current systems, it converts from voice to text, then it goes to a large language model. We prefer to use the very large models because they're able to handle exceptions, like you can throw random questions in and they cope with it. And then converts that back to text, then to speech. And we generally use 11 Labs for the voice synthesis, which is one of the leading companies in the market at the moment. However, there is the next generation, which we're working on in the background as well, which I could actually give you a demo of that if you want. Which
Yeah,
I
I'm more than happy to have more demos. Demos are fine
oh
for
yeah.
me. Um,
So let
in
me
terms of let's talk about the latency because I think you made a really valid point because I think for most human interactions, I think you and I would probably have like what 300ths of a or zero point 0.3 of a delay, whereas I guess a lot of these AIs are maybe like zero point 0.6, zero point 0.7, something like that. So what is the latency on the models that you're using?
So there's a lot of variability in the models and the latency. A lot of it is related to the large language model. Um, Typically, anything under a second is good. A half a second or 500 milliseconds is fantastic. Um, you can probably get that if you have everything local. Because we use some really large language models that are cloud hosted, you're probably closer to about a second in responses, which is still quite comfortable. Some of the systems that we've looked at, because I've looked at all the systems out there to make certain we're cutting edge, I've seen them sit at 2 to 3 seconds. And you have the conversation, you say something, and you're waiting 1, 2, 3 before you get the response. It immediately gives it away. It's an AI and throws you off. So the latency is really key, and there's a lot of tuning to make certain we get that right.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's great. And yeah, 2, 3 seconds probably too long. People lose their patience. But a second. I think I've seen some of the tools like Millis AI are claiming now half a second. So it's getting closer and closer. And I guess this will only speed up with time. So that's amazing. And yeah, you mentioned another demo. Let's do the next one. See another
Okay,
example.
let's just see if I can share the screen and give you that demo. So this is actually talking to a real AI, and it's an experimental AI that doesn't have that text to speech and speech to text. It's just direct. So this is a demo of the next generation that we are planning to implement.
Hello, this is Maya from Midtown Medical Associates. What can I help you with today?
Oh, hi, Maya. My name is Michael, and just feeling a bit unwell. Wanted to book an appointment with one of your doctors.
Hi, Michael. Sorry to hear you're not feeling well. Let me see what we've got available. Could you tell me a little about what's bothering you? Not necessarily every detail, but just the general area. That way I can make sure you see the right doctor and get in as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think I've just got a bit of a virus and just want to get that checked out, thanks.
Okay, sounds like you might need to check up with a general practitioner. Do you have a preference for any doctors in particular, Michael, or are you happy to see whoever is available soonest?
Yeah, whoever's available soonest, thanks.
No problem. We'll get you seen to quickly. Let me just have a look at the schedule. Okay. It looks like Dr. Lee has an opening tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that can work for me, thanks.
Great. I'll go ahead and book that for you. Just to confirm, that's Dr. Lee tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, correct? Also, could I get a phone number to confirm the appointment? Oh, and
Yeah, phone number, 12345.
great. 12345. Got it. All set, Michael. See you tomorrow at 2:30 with Dr. Lee. Let us know if anything changes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Take care and feel better soon.
And
Very smooth.
yeah,
Very smooth. The power in that is great. I guess if you're a receptionist right now, you would be very concerned about what role you're doing. You need to be finding something else you can do to add value into the organization. And what I like about that is whenever I've had to call the doctor, sometimes they're so busy, they're dealing with patients in front of them, they've got to put you on hold and then you're waiting. Basically, you're not going to have to go on hold again because these AIs will be able to take these calls whenever. How many AIs can answer at a time? If you had 20 calls coming in or 30 calls coming in, could you deal with it?
yeah, definitely. And in fact, one of the examples and one of the systems that I'm using is 20 concurrent lines. And that's the advantage with using AI is that there's no real restriction to the number of AIs you can have answer the call concurrently, all with the same training, all with the same consistency. So you can easily do 100 AIs answering concurrently. Obviously, if you've got 100 incoming calls concurrently, you're talking about a very large business. But yeah, that's very easily achieved. So you can scale very quickly. And the other advantage, and when I get onto the costings, is you only pay for when the AI is actually on the phone. So if you've got no calls through the night, you're not paying for the system. You're only paying per minute, at least with the way that we run our systems.
Yeah, okay. And that was going to be my next question, right? Because the quality seems good. It doesn't sound like it's going to take too long to get set up. You can probably get this installed into an operation pretty quickly.
Uh, Yes, although I'm very thorough in how I implement, and we do a lot of testing, as in many thousands of calls to check all variables. Because one of the biggest things with running AIs is you want to make certain, particularly in this case in medical that we've been talking about, that it does say the right things. It doesn't go off on a tangent. It doesn't suggest any remedies, because that's the doctor's responsibility to make certain that they're the ones who say this is what you should be taking to fix your medical issues. But on the other hand, it also has to be able to pick up things like, is someone got a mental health issue? Is someone suicidal? And it has to realize, hey, this person is a priority. We need to transfer this through urgently to a human to help address the issues, or even recognize if it's a medical emergency and suggest that they call 000. So while we can't do diagnosis of someone's illness, we can identify how urgent it is. So there's a lot that goes into it. And that's,
Yeah, wow.
I think
Yeah.
one of the customers I worked with, I had a 60-page product requirements document pretty much talking about all the call flows, which that also includes calling up if people haven't responded to SMS reminders. So it will ring them up and see if they still want to attend that appointment. So there's a lot that goes into these systems to make certain they run well.
Phenomenal. Very phenomenal.
So to answer the question, I normally like to say about 3 months implementation time for complex systems, maybe slightly longer depending on what you want to do. If it's something simple like just my personal assistant, we can have that implemented within a couple of days typically, which is mostly just time taken to understand what you want, what do we need to interface to, and then we just set it up.
Perfect. That sounds great. What kind of returns are the people you're working with seeing? Whilst you say, hey, you're only paying for it when the AI is on, but what kind of savings are they making?
So savings can be quite significant, and I do have an example. In fact, I'm planning on putting a LinkedIn post out, so I've got some draft PowerPoints that I can actually share, which might help.
Please do.
So let's go back here. So just to clarify, our medical and general voice AI, although the business is called Execute, the product that does the voice AI is called a Freya. So a Freya is actually named after a Greek goddess, who's human-like, caring, and that's where the name came from. If you mispronounce it as Afria, you could also say it's freeing up staff time. So it's kind of got two meanings to it. So in terms of return on investment, yeah, it can be quite high. So this example is over 380% in less than 2.5 months. But I'll go through some of the figures to explain it a bit as to how I come with that. Because obviously you can make up numbers, but I'm going to show you how this actually works. In this scenario, we're talking about a medical clinic. It's based on a real medical clinic that I've worked with, but I've changed the numbers, changed the number of staff, so it can't be attributed back to a specific business. In this case, there's 20 receptionists, and I've generalized that they work 6 days a week and 12-hour shifts. Whether or not that's more receptionists, but it's approximately 12 hours they're open every day. Their call volume is about 62,500 calls, and it's about 2 minutes per call, so double that for the actual amount of talk time. Even with that number of staff, they still miss at least 10% of their calls. In reality, I see high figures, but I've been really conservative on this example and said 10%. So they're missing over 6,000 calls, the calls that people hang up before they get answered because they're already talking or they're busy with other customers actually serving them. And the staffing cost for 20 receptionists is 2.25 million. I've based that on a wage of about $30 an hour in terms of costing. So if we then go to what happens when you implement an AI solution, the AI I've assumed will handle 50% of the calls. Again, that's really conservative. If you've set up the AI well, it can handle more calls than that. It might be 60, 70%, or even 80%. It does vary depending on the sort of business that you are. But I'm just going to keep it conservative and say it's only handling 50% of the calls, so you free up half of your staff. And I'll have to say free up because you can reallocate them, not get rid of them, but it's up to the business owner as to what they do. And I've said that I think I've said across 8 clinics. I think 10 for this example works better. So with that change, you don't have any missed calls because the AI always picks up, and you the staff that are there are still available to serve the customers, so you get better customer service with the face-to-face, and you also get immediate answers, so you get better customer service, as in you're not waiting on hold to talk to someone, you're immediately getting things actioned that you want to get actioned. The other thing that occurs with some of these figures is you get additional appointments because you're not losing that 10% of calls. You're actually getting people who will book appointments who don't book appointments as well. And I've said, look, if you allow for the fact that 10% of those people will book appointments that you wouldn't have otherwise got, that also gives you another revenue. So just to go through just some of the background as well, the AI itself costs, I've said 200,000 implementation. We're working with the customer to get all the processes correct, interfacing to their systems. That's obviously just a made up cost, but I wanted to make certain there's some sort of real cost in there that's significant, just for this example. I've said the AI cost is 40 cents per minute. Now that's not unrealistic, but it depends on AI models, so that can vary significantly. We can definitely get that a lot lower, and it depends on what models we're using. And also there's a lot of cost in just the infrastructure as well, in interfacing text to speech, speech to text. There's probably at least 5 or 6 different systems that run to make this all happen. We, for what it's worth, we use Azure as well when we use redundant zones, so we aim for extremely high uptimes. And your total implementation and annual costs, I've said here, is about 800,000, which sounds high until you look at the overall picture. Your savings from this system with staff is your just over 1.1 million. Your net savings after AI operational changes is over $500,000. So it's pretty significant. But then you're also earning an additional 450,000 in additional appointments that you wouldn't have otherwise got. And I've assumed it's about $200 for appointment for medical companies, but that varies depending on your customer base. So your total net benefit is 973,000, which is pretty significant. You know, you're nearly up $1 million based on this simple example. But to actually tell you a little bit more about that net benefit and this total ROI, I've actually got annual benefit of 2 million. And just to clarify that as well, is I assume you only make 30% margin on each customer. If you look at the total additional revenue from each customer, it actually adds up to $2 million gross revenue and savings in total. So it is pretty significant. And if you look at the total implementation cost, you're looking at payback in less than 2.5 months once this is implemented. And look, I can run these numbers with any customers as well, and see what's going to work.
A 2.5 month payback and a 386% return on investment is always appealing. The examples you've got here, of course, is for a much bigger medical clinic, which is great. At what size of business does this become viable? Does it make sense for someone who's got, a smaller business to start doing something like this?
Yes, it does depend though. So if you are looking at just like a personal assistant for just answering the phone calls, I would look at rough, again, depends what sort of interfacing you need, but I'd say $120 a month for like a one-man sort of band. And that would give you the ability for an AI to take messages, book appointments, maybe interface to your CRM, and that would possibly give you an hour's worth of call time in that price. But if you are, let's say, a business that gets the occasional phone call and you've got some complex requirements, interfacing, etc., it maybe wouldn't be worth the implementation cost. But it's really for those businesses that are getting just continuous phone calls. And that's where the cost savings come in. So instead of paying a staff member to constantly man the phone, you've got an AI doing it, which is a much lower cost base. And I
Phenomenal.
think that's where I try to aim for businesses generally that have more than a couple of staff, unless they want something really simple like just a a messaging service.
Amazing. Well, I think we're at a very exciting time, and Michael, you're at the forefront of this. I know there's a lot of people who are having awareness of these tools, but you're out there implementing and helping people get savings already, which is phenomenal. So, I think anyone's listening, if you had it sounds like a larger size business where you think this would be worthwhile, where would be the best place for them to come and find you, Michael?
So either visit the website, exiq.com.au, or you can look me up on LinkedIn, Michael LeVene, or my phone number is 0423 540 702. And if I don't pick up, my AI definitely will.
Of course, of course. Wherever you're listening, make sure you click into the show notes. All of those links, email addresses, phone numbers will be there as clickable items. And Michael, there's so much value and wisdom in today's call. Is there any additional messages that you'd like to share?
I know that this is going to become more and more common and mainstream in business, and businesses that adopt it early, although there might be a perceived risk, will generally fare better financially. They're going to be able to either offer better quality service to customers or make more profit or reduce their costs and grow faster. So the longer you delay implementing these solutions, the more likely it is that a competitor is going to overtake you. And also to clarify, this isn't just for medical. I'm talking with numerous other businesses in other industries. The reason I use medical is just a more tricky situation because of privacy. So if you can do medical, you can do pretty much any other industry, bar defense, which is a whole nother discussion.
It's another discussion completely. I'm sure there's some challenges around that one. So, Michael, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate everything you shared.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate you having a conversation with me.